So enough of looking at Ansible connections. Now it's time to look into architecture of Ansible. So I feel there is no better architecture than Ansible. It's the greatest of great architecture that I have ever seen in my life. Architecture doesn't mean uh, a construction related architecture. I'm talking about the software related architecture, the way it functions, the way it works. Okay, so this is just for an understanding purpose, so how it really executes, how it really works. It's not the actual architecture that has been presented or that has been defined in the Ansible documentation. This is just from our understanding. This is from a broad understanding that we got because of using Ansible for years. Okay, so you have to first uh, as usual, it begins with an inventory file. Inventory file, what is inventory file? Anyway, we are gonna see, but for this moment you have to create an inventory file. In inventory file you will have the target mission information. I will show you the inventory file, how does it look like, but there you have to mention the host machine and then host mission ip, and then you will give some host mission information, such as a region and which region is it, North Virginia or some other place, and then VPC. So this information, so that inventory file is going to have the information regarding your machines that you want to configure from control machine. So that's what is our inventory file. Like for example, IP address, usernames, password will be mentioned in the inventory file. Ansible lot of modules, inbuilt modules, lot of modules, mainly inbuilt modules that are supposed to do a particular task. For example, installing a package or restarting a service or taking the snapshot of EBS volume. For everything we use Python modules here. In this case, this is completely different than any other kind of software. If you take a configuration related software itself, a chef or puppet, they are absolutely dependent on services, on a specific service which is running in the server. But here it's dependent and it's relied on modules that were written for the Python. So because of that, these modules can be increased and number of modules can be written. So because we have a open community, so that community keeps on increasing, keeps on adding the new amount of modules into the collection. So that's the reason it's becoming more famous and famous, and it will become more famous. So that's why Ansible is my favorite. So like that, there are hundreds and more than 1,000 modules in Ansible. You write playbook and you mentioned from that. So the inventory file, that this is the host and I want to execute so this module on this host. That's what we are going to write. But initially, so your first task is to write a module. Sorry, extremely sorry. Your first task is to write an inventory file. In that inventory file you have to mention all the information regarding the host machine where you want to configure, you host machine which you want to configure. And then after that, to configure that machine you have to write a playbook. What is playbook? We are going to see in our forthcoming slides, but for now, a playbook. In the playbook you are going to mention the task. Basically, it's called module. In that playbook we call it as a place, and then in that play you write a module. In that module you mention task to be done. So what task to be done? So if you want to install the service, you want to start the service, or you want to copy application, you want to copy the web application from somewhere. So all these are called tasks. These tasks will be written as a part of a module, and then this module is added in a play, and then this combination of this collection of plays is called playbook. So once So an inventory is written, inventory file with which machine to be configured is written. Then that inventory file will be referenced inside the playbook, saying that this module, this task you execute in this machine which is mentioned in the inventory. So then once that is done, then it goes to the modules. Of course, that's what we are saying. So that's the flow. This modules consists of uh, as usual, I have told you before, this modules consists of tasks, and this tasks should be executed in the missions which it is, which are mentioned in the inventory. So that will be a task in the playbook. So now you mentioned that as we mentioned that the destination anywhere from the inventory, so this is the host and this module needs to get executed. So then Ansible is going to use the configuration, create Python scripts, and then Python package. So then here you will have the Ansible configuration. So this is the main one, and then from this will be converted into the Ansible is going to use this configuration, whatever configuration that we have made till now, and then it creates a Python scripts. That's what happens. It creates a Python scripts and Python packages. That's the fundamental way of working of Ansible, or the Ansible architecture. Inventory, then playbook. You inside the playbook you mention the modules that you want to execute in the machines which are mentioned in the inventory, and you pass this playbook to the Ansible config, and then this config, then this Ansible machine, this Ansible application will convert this playbook into Python scripts and Python packages. Then we'll see what's going to happen. So then once that is done, so Python package means a group of Python modules like we have seen in Python group of functions. So together we created a modules together. We have run a lot of functions, a lot of modules in our Python course. The Python course name is Intuitive Python for You course. That in the same YouTube channel you can find out. If you're not much familiar with Python, if you want to learn Python, so of course learning Python is great deal these days. So you just get into my YouTube channel and search for Intuitive Python DevOps and click on the playlist. Go to the playlist and click on that Intuitive Python for You course. That's absolutely free course and you can enjoy. I've put a lot of examples and I've made it in a simplistic way and a systematic way, and and sorted way and an ordered way. So it would be fun to learn. So please go and watch that. And here, so now like the group of modules as we have mentioned in the Python package. So when you execute, it's going to create a Python package, deliver it to the destination. So now what is the destination for us? For us, the destination could be a Linux machine or a Windows machine, or it could be a cloud computing, or it could be a database, or it could be a switch. The destination could be anything, as we have discussed in our previous slide. Based on the destination, if it is Windows, WinRM is the one which it uses to connect. If it is Linux, it uses SSH to connect with the Linux machine. If it is cloud computing API, if it is database, again Python modules. If it is switch or router, it uses the Python modules and Python packages. That's how your Ansible architecture works. So inventory file is very important, because that's where we mention the host machine, the destination machines. That's where we mention the destination machine. For example, here we mention the Windows destination machine information in the inventory file. In playbooks we write the modules saying that execute these modules uh, in the destination machine that I have mentioned in the inventory. So then this playbook will go to the Ansible config will convert this playbook into Python scripts and Python packages, and then this Python packages will be delivered into the destination machines that we have mentioned in the inventory file. And So if it is Windows destination machine, it uses a WinRM. If it is Linux destination machine, it uses SSH. If it is database, it uses Python modules. If it is cloud computing, it uses API.